Hi guys, and welcome back to the next video in the AAP-01 series, and in this video we're going to be fitting some cow upgrade parts to the bolt section of the pistol. Now first of all, let's go over what we've got here. We've got a ultra lightweight blowback unit in red, very cool indeed, and we've got the aluminium nozzle block in gold, and we've got the guide rod set which comes with some short stroke baffles there and a recoil spring. So I went with a bit of a red and gold theme here. If these colours don't align with the way I'm going with this build further on, I can always Cerakote them and do them any colour that I wish. So first of all, we're going to drop the lower receiver. In fact, what we'll do first, we will do a demonstration. So we'll go onto semi-auto. We'll hook up our line to our JVS of Custom Infinite kit, like so. We've got semi-auto, so we've got something to compare it to at the end. And we've got fully auto. So disconnect the line. We now have a baseline to compare it to. Let's put the lower off there. I'm going to flip this over. We're going to be using a 2mm Allen key to remove the screws on the rear sight, which is what holds the blowback unit in place, like so. We can just pull that and it will come out of the rear of the pistol. And now we need a posi, a nice posi there. We're going to remove the selector, which is a PH1 that I'm using there. We're going to pull the selector apart here. Careful not to lose the retention ball and spring. I'll pop this section out as well. We are then going to remove the guide rod and recoil spring, and you'll see a difference here in the recoil spring, difference in coil length and obviously material and the way the spring's put together. We're going to remove the two screws at the front here, and we'll pull that out. Comes out in one nice piece there, and there we go. All we're going to need is the piston cup, so we'll pop that off. We're going to replace the piston cup onto the cow blowback unit. Just center that up there. Make sure it's seated in place. Okay, need a little bit of lubricant. Just so this thing doesn't dry out. Now, we have actually got some choices as well, because Hadrian Airsoft was kind enough to send us some bits and pieces. So I'm going to be using his screws for the housing, and he's also got a nice nozzle spring in here as well. So we're going to fit the Hadrian nozzle spring to the housing like so. I'm going to place the blowback nozzle on there like that. We can slide this down. I'm very much liking the red and gold, very Iron Man-esque. And we're going to use the Hadrian nozzle bolts, which come in a pack of 2. Gets rid of that Phillips, and then we can use what looks like a 2mm Allen key. We'll just test that. Yep, 2mm. So why not do this while we have it apart? Nice stainless steel bolts there. I have to screw them in. They are locking bolts as well. They have a little bit of dry Loctite on there. That Hadron nozzle spring, you can already tell, is a lot stronger than the standard one. That's fitted. We've now got the recoil spring guide and the recoil spring. And what we'll do, we'll test what this is like first. Is this going to let me put it in from the front? I don't think it is. With that new housing. Nope. So what we'll do, we'll back those two screws out. Hopefully that will allow us to put it in there. Yes, it will. It's just going to shoot off the front. Place that back inside. So we've got a lightweight blowback unit, we've got an upgraded recoil spring, an upgraded nozzle spring, an upgraded guide rod, upgraded screws, and we'll see how this thing does. I'm just going to spray a tiny bit of oil into the hard to reach areas, so I'm going to do a little bit in there. Only because it's very dry. Want it to be nice and free moving. I'm going to take our Jaeger silicone grease. This stuff will be available very soon, if not already. It's very easy to apply pen here with a brush. I'm going to apply some low friction silicone grease on here. Not too much, just the right amount. And we're also going to apply some to the spring just to remove any noise, unwanted spring rattle, like so. We'll apply some to the rails here as well because it's dry. I'm going to pop the selector assembly back in. And we have got a nice part to fit later on to make changing the fire selector a lot easier with a TTI charging handle. I'm going to leave this in full auto, although I can change it anyway because it's too tight. I'm going to leave that in full auto. I'm going to take this, I'm going to install it back into the pistol, pop the rear sight on there, take a 2mm Allen key, we do have the shims to short stroke it here if we want to. Already that feels loads better, feels a lot smoother. Let's test the rate of fire. So you can see it's already vastly increased the rate of fire. What we can do is we can pull this back out quickly. And we can short stroke it. But I do want to keep the empty mag locked back on empty. So what we'll do, if it allows me to pull the thing out, is we'll fit one shim from the Cow spring guide set, and we'll see how much rate of fire increase this gives us. We don't want it too much, but it would be nice if you're in a sticky situation, because I'm more than likely going to use this alongside some type of DMR or sniper platform where I can't engage targets at close range, so it needs to be feisty to get me out of a sticky situation. So we've got one spacer fitted to it now. We've also got a spacer from Hadron that we can try, which looks like a rubber buffer. So some testing will be needed because there's a lot of parts here and a lot of variations to try. Again, with your setup, depending on what you want to go for, you might want to chop and change it. Still locks back on empty, which is what I want. Let's put the air on. And here we go. How much faster do you think it's going to be? Let's give it a go. That sounds plenty fast to me. So that is a guide on how to install an upgraded bolt and blowback housing upgrades like spring guide, recoil spring, nozzle spring, all that good stuff. This is now going from chugga chugga chug to bap bap bap, and I'm not sure how much more we could short stroke it before we lose it. In fact, just an extra little bit to this video, what we'll do is, as well as that spacer, we'll see if we can get away with the Hadron buffer as well. So let's pop these two screws out again. The kinetic driver makes this much more of a faster install. Let's pull that out there. And in the Hadron kit, we've got this little, like a TPA style buffer. Let's pop that on there. What do you think? Is this going to be a lot faster? We'll see. Recoil spring, nozzle spring and housing. And it really is like up to you. Like I say, you can change the timing of this stuff depending on what you need for your build. If you want it slower, if you want it faster, if you just want it to be more efficient. And we're going to pop this back together real quick, just as a little test before we go. And this is only at 80 psi. You know, we can go faster. So it looks like we do lose the lock back, so I might have to remove it or fit a thinner shim maybe. But just for scientific purposes, let's test the rate of fire. 3, 2, 1. That is very, very fast indeed. So I might clock it back one because it's I obviously want the mags to feed reliably and I want them to last more than a second. So thanks very much for tuning into this video. We'll see you in the next one. And in the next one, we're going to be fitting, obviously, the selector switch for the rear housing here to make switching full auto a lot faster. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much for watching. So if you stayed after the video, what I ended up actually doing was going back. I removed the cow buffer and I've actually just stuck with the Hadron one because it's slightly longer and it's a slightly sort of more bouncy material. So this is what I achieved the best results with. This is what I'm going with. Hadron Airsoft, he knows what he's doing. See you in the next video.